Alrighty, welcome everybody. This is your live sermon, the Unknown Light Warrior, coming to you live from the center of all the action that you are very much a part of, making it happen, putting our money where our mouth is, so to speak, taking matters into our own hands. Literally, as far as energy is concerned, and as far as all that is concerned, by participating, by raising your hand, stepping forward, taking action, demonstrating love, not just commitment, to what matters most, which is ending this, what is literally a billions of years saga to a conclusion that did look quite uncertain for a long time. This is the full moon in Leo, 144K mass intervention, otherwise known as meditation, on February 12th, 2025. The astrologers are saying that the second half of 2025 is going to be in a very positive way, a completely different story than the first half of 2025. But as demonstrated by our past track record, we're going to throw in that arguably single biggest unknown quantity and wildcard factor, the 144K. To make all the roughness end well before March equinox and make that even far smoother and quicker, as always, per our track record, as proven by the US presidential election, certification, inauguration, three major events that clearly just seamlessly went as smoothly as possible without any interruptions, overt military martial law, no, nothing. That even caught me by surprise. And that's just one great example of proof of how much we're succeeding in quickening, smoothing, and raising the planetary timelines. So take a deep breath and begin that slow, deep, rhythmic breathing through your nose. And just detach and relax and get into that meditative state. Be rejoiceful in this now, which is easier if you're on the West Coast or Mountain Time, where the matrix is still nice and quiet, being so early in the morning. Be thankful to be alive, still in your physical body, because not that long ago, there were plenty of timelines where we definitely were not in our physical bodies. Such is the nature of the game. That the 144K bravely recognizes. Does not have its head in the cloud, but sure pulls in the light from the clouds, metaphorically speaking. As you continue to take those slow, deep breaths, as pretty much everyone that's going to come on live has pretty much logged on by now and gotten themselves comfortable. There seems to be no one else new joining for this session. And continue to lose yourself in the now through detachment and non-trying, fundamental psychic rules to effectively begin this critical timeline changing, timeline shifting, life-saving 144K mass meditation. The higher the timelines, the more lives are saved. That's just the nature of what we do. Now, for those of you who have guides, consciously at least, you can go ahead and bring them in. Call them in now. And of course, if this is your first 144K mass meditation, congratulations and welcome. And this will be a very different, revealing, eye-opening experience for you. And simply open up your mind and radically and fundamentally expand your spiritual paradigm to a next level that you didn't know existed. It's an extremely empowering thing. You'll be supported in going way beyond any current level of working with energy? Especially on this full moon, because we have Uranus squaring this full moon. And astrologers, well, let me explain or make sure we're all on the same page with this. The reason why astrology has such a huge influence, if not deciding influence, is because that's what the cosmos wants. And because that's what the cosmos wants, and we're also now, only very recently, in the light age, it's now what source wants. And we have to work with that, not against it, to help us find those hidden gems. It's more like an opportunity, even though many times it doesn't feel like it. That'll get us free. And so Uranus squaring this full moon in Leo, as I've said, it's all about the unexpected, surprising, shock and awe, as one astrologer put it. Surprise, unexpected, shock and awe. And yes, the dark ones are certainly going to utilize that with everything they've got. They're already walking around in circles at various locations, doing their chants, incantations. In other words, so don't worry if you're having a bad morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world, because that's the reason why. As always, they're going to try to twist it in a highly negative way to disrupt. Disruption means delay, and in many cases, loss of life. 144K intervenes, literally, and turns it in the opposite direction. Expect the unexpected. They'll be providing the actual tool and methodology at the right moment. So let's quickly take our usual steps to amplify, magnify, and leverage this intervention by 100, more like 1,000, but anyway, by going up to managers of multiverses. They're extremely cool. So see yourself in that gigantic, translucent silver crystal ball, and call or have your guides with you if you consciously work with any. Now, apologies for blowing my nose, but I just can't get around to muting 3 different buttons every time, so apologies. Let's call in Gaia. You can repeat after me or call her in your own way if you like. Authentic Gaia. Authentic Gaia, we call upon the one true authentic goddess, Gaia. Please be here with us. Authentic Gaia, can we please have your permission to take you up with us outside this universe and beyond the multiverses? Now see Gaia in the center of this gigantic crystal ball, and just along the inside of the equator of this crystal ball, you see all the golden light bodies or astral bodies of all fellow 144K comrades. Comrades in the very strict sense of the word and literal sense of the word. Adore, admire with loving affection the white polar ice caps of Gaia, the blue of her oceans, and the clouds over the oceans, and continent or 2 facing you. And now we start to move up through the layers of this universe. You notice the first few distinct, bright, horizontal lines going from top to bottom before that familiar and comforting flickering of light comes through the translucent walls of the crystal ball as we race up the layers of this universe. Meditate in a non-trying way on this actualized construct as consciousness projection from the physical to the non-physical unlocks your God self and its natural abilities of what you're here for. Look all around and allow the soft flickering of light through the walls of the crystal ball calm you, center you, having that therapeutic effect, and allow it to bring you into even more and deeper presence, centeredness, stillness, which is spirituality 101. And just effortlessly hold your primary point of attention, where energy goes, on that internal image. Your true I, and away from the illusory, highly restricted physical eyes. As we're about to break through the last thick outer boundary of this universe to amplify this intervention and timeline upgrade by orders of magnitude. And as you glance and casually and admiringly hold Gaia in the center of a broadening internal vision, know that you are having maximal impact on the planet, and it's only going to grow from there. Take that last glance at Gaia. And now finally, we break through, or reach, I should say, that last thick outer boundary of this universe. And everything goes bright white. It's so bright you have to squint your eyes. You can barely see Gaia in the middle. And the dotted golden ring closer to the equator, that is all the other 144K members. You can barely see it all. It's very bright, very intense. And we finally break through. The bright light disappears. It's now just the dark, cool, translucent silver wall of the crystal ball, Gaia in the middle. And you see a big ball of light that is the universe that we just left beneath us. Rapidly turning into a small ball of light. And we rise above a whole ocean of small balls of light that are all the other universes in this neighborhood of this multiverse. And all of this ocean of multiverse, ocean of universes, I should say, we now see the whole multiverse that we're just coming out of as a small, hazier ball of light, not quite as distinct. And we rise above a whole ocean of multiverses that look like a whole ocean of balls of light again. And it disappears. Return your primary focus to Gaia, lesser focus to everyone else, the crystal ball and your guides, as I quickly run through standard security protocols. Authentic heart, we call upon the one true authentic light beings to hide. Authentic heart, please make sure we go to you and no one else true hide. And now we look up above Gaia. And through that translucent roof of the crystal ball, all of a sudden you start to see a point of white light. Way off in the distance. And all of a sudden it starts to get bigger. Brighter. And now it's beginning to light up the whole roof of the crystal ball. And we finally reach it. So far up above all that is. Very hidden. Kind of secret little realm. And we come to a sudden, yet somehow gentle stop, and we slowly and lovingly push through this thick platform of light. Like I said, really open up your mind. We really do have to venture into the unknown, because that's where freedom lies. As we move up through this platform of light, enveloping the crystal ball, Gaia in the middle. It closes at the bottom. Opens up at the top. And we rise above and nestle on top of this platform of light. We form a straight line of unity. Behind and above Gaia. Ultimately, it's all about the goddess. And a little psychic reminder or psychic trick here to have an easier time seeing, do it or simply visualize something before your rational mind even has a chance to think. Just run with that powerful secret, not just tactic, and you'll do well. Again, letting go, and let go some more after that is the key. Because the image is already presented for you, to you. Now, see the crystal ball up above? Begin to peel away. Come downward, peeling away. All the way down. And it disappears. And now if you're new, just see, feel, and connect. Establish your own connection, because this is incredibly empowering and upgrading. Establish your own connection with this extreme high level of light. It's 5 light beings. They're from beyond the creator gods level, because we're creator gods. And feel their unique energy signature. It's okay if your rational mind interprets them as nothing more than light beings. Totally fine. And we're going to sit in silence to not just get our fields cleared and upgraded just by being with them, but to go even deeper into the now, into the meditative state, to detach from the incredibly limited, conditioned left hemisphere brain or rational mind. Now feel what they feel like as we stand in solidarity, not taking no for an answer. Again, just being with them clears your field, to put it mildly. And I'm going to be silent for a minute or two as you hold, focus on them. Again, if you're new, you may be yawning away or having trouble staying awake, and that's okay if this is your first time dealing with such super high frequency. In that non-trying, still way, hold that internal image that's already been presented to you. You just have to receive, because this is key in changing a world, literally. Authentic Hod. Please send us a massive wave of your energy so we can truly fuel you to an undeniable, unmistakable, physical level. And now let go and be. Let go completely of linear time, of where your physical body even is, and be up here. Your physical body will be just fine. And have a little bit of background attention on your higher senses in your thalamus area, center of your head, as you look at them. And really, especially if you're new, really have that infinite wonder and love of exploration with that limitless attitude of a child that really unlocks the conditioned adult mind. Powerful secret there. Engage the right hemisphere of your brain to access non-linear, unlimited, non-local consciousness. As consciousness is king, and imagination, the infamous misnomer, is one of the highest forms of consciousness. And consciousness is what's going to get us free. And humanity and Gaia healed. Returned back to the stars. Authentic Hod, please send us a massive wave of your energy to our hearts. Engage the heart level of all of us. And now have a little bit of background consciousness on your heart or center of your chest. To activate that. for greater levels of power. Ah, nice. All right. Again, if you're new, it's often normal to not feel anything at the beginning because of, I suppose, lack of reference points or lack of a reference point for such a thing, such an unfamiliar thing, but you'll get it. If not now, next time. It's just a question of personal trust and letting go of the mind with its limited existing paradigm. Now shift your visual focus to your guides if you have them, and then Gaia. Get comfortable. I'm going to quickly call in the rest of the teams because so much of all that is focused on this universe, this galaxy. And this tiny blue planet. I call upon the infinite army, the authentic amalgam of the Oberon lineage. I call upon the elders of the amalgam. I call upon the team of beings that created this universe and the unique phenomena known as physicality for the ultimate goal of corralling the dark back to the light. Referred to as Oberon, that presents itself as one man in this model. See him as a giant golden being of light and place him where you wish within your peripheral vision. Repeat after me, everybody. I call upon the entirety of my soul, which is plenty big and powerful, but see it as a distant star just up above. And the Hod. Connect with it, within and through your heart. This is extremely big deal. It is who you are. Repeat after me. I'll call upon my authentic oversoul, sometimes referred to as a larger version of your higher self, and see that as a slightly bigger ball of light behind your soul. You can change the color of it if you prefer, for the sake of visual contrast, to be able to see it. And repeat after me. I call upon my authentic I am. And see the sudden appearance and those long, infinite rays of light from around the edges of your oversoul, as it appears as an even bigger ball of light behind your soul and oversoul. As your soul alone is infinite and immortal in its own right, we're simply turning the volume, turning the dial all the way to 11 here. That's the 144K rolls. Because we want unconditional freedom, healing, and the restoration of love as the primary governing force. Now, authentic legion of light. Here is Gaia. Here is the 144K, the physical third density anchors, and therefore opportunities for light. Take us to the space and place of what is effectively invincibility. Some would say infallibility, which is the place of omnipresence. Take us all there now, please. Now take a brief glance at Gaia. And then all of a sudden, everything goes bright white. It's so bright you have to squint your eyes, so intense, as we are taken to the very hidden, sacred, deep realm. We're simply going to call omnipresence. You can barely see Gaia in the middle. As your I am, our collective I am, is taking us there. And the bright light disappears. Authentic legion of light. Here we are. Just hold visual focus on at least two of the teams, everybody, as we really get things going now to the next level. Authentic legion of light. All masses of realms and levels of light. It is February 12th, 2025 in terms of linear matrix construct time. It is the full moon. In Leo. And obviously you, representing all that is of the light. You want something unexpected to happen, completely unexpected, out from left field, so to speak. Shocks and surprises, revelations. As we square Uranus, the planet, the energy, mechanism, channel of freedom, revolution, rebelliousness, innovation. We, the 144K, as ground crew, petition and request the most positive possible form of shocks, surprises, revolution, and revelation. The most positive form. So that, like with many times in the past, in our established record, we make the news, literally. And transform the energies. Radically upgrade the timelines. To where the shock, surprises, unexpectedness of this square, full moon square with Uranus is so profound, so amazing, so positive. That it just takes our breath away, leaves us stunned in amazement, shocked, surprised. But in the most profoundly positive possible way that we can accrete. Please scan Gaia. Here she is. The sacred one. Scan the entirety of her and the human collective. And all and everything hidden within it. To clear and enable what we have petitioned and requested. And now Gaia is in the quarantine sphere. See her in there, in the quarantine sphere. typically white, but you can choose your color of the quarantine sphere for protection. Always remember, folks, especially if you're new, engage the right hemisphere of your brain. It's critical through letting go and non-trying. And recognize that everything you can imagine is real. One of the biggest secrets to consciousness and change. There was never anything in existence such as imagination. It is merely right hemisphere consciousness, an unlimited form of consciousness, and we're going to use it. We surround Gaia, the dotted golden ring, that is the 144K, surrounds Gaia. So, one of the main primary secrets to change, to freeing this world, this planet, humanity, to changing your own personal life, is going beyond what we know currently. That's just the way it works. And we need to utilize trust to do that. Maturity. And detach from any subjectivity. That's what the true masters do, and it's my job to help you do that. For real change, revolution, and shock and awe of the most profound, highlight, positive way that we're now shifting things into as the dark ones busily walking around in circles in their long cloaks and hoods, and probably walking around in circles in fast forward at this point. They're so desperate. If you can imagine that comical visual. Now, just for a minute or two, briefly show the teams, at least two of them. Okay, always the I am, your I am, or the collective I am, and the HOD at a minimum. We're going to just quickly, for a brief minute or two, start off with attacks on Starseeds. Well, at least active ones anyway. They don't have to worry about inactive ones. You know, anything negative that was clearly interference that happened to you in the past, either few hours or 24 hours, depending on your situation. Show that to them now for briefly. And all you veterans know that this is fundamental to doing real personal shadow work. Mm. Let go. Sometimes it takes a few minutes or even over half an hour to get into it, so to speak, to where it just clicks to enough letting go and doing, not thinking, through so-called imagination, the infamous misnomer of them all. So don't worry. You're doing well. Because you are already lining yourself up for your soul to fulfill its unique purpose and pre-assigned task in this time-space moment that's approached you or is approaching you. So get ready. Hold. Visual. Non-trying focus. As they're already working through you, through us all, to be able to get into this realm in deep, to find and therefore clear remaining blocks to full planetary liberation. It just can't happen all at once because even we, let alone the human collective, can't handle that much explosion of light at the physical 3D surface. But maybe that's part of the unexpected. Anyone having trouble visualizing, Just see the giant ball of infinite light up ahead of your I am, fundamentally omnipresent. This is where you put whatever's keeping you down. Whatever you feel disturbed by. And they'll take it from there. It's a classic case of show and tell. Just for another minute. Because what's interfering with you in your personal life is often and typically the same thing that interferes and prevents and delays planetary liberation. The micro of the macro. And showing and presenting to the teams whatever the issue is actually half the work and the real trick and secret to the work. Remember to breathe deeply and slowly through your nose. Let go of linear time. Believe me, it is incredibly restrictive and limiting what we can do. Okay, interesting. There still seems to be a technological focus. Or technology of some form, hindering, blocking the light. So, which I guess is in alignment with the spirit, nature, and characteristics of Uranus, we will harness its power and purpose. Some of you at the soul level are all about organic and inorganic technologies. As part of the nature, purpose, mission of your soul and your energy system built on that. Okay, repeat after me. Authentic I Am Presence, soul over soul, and Legion of Light. Scan the entirety of all that is throughout Gaia and all the hidden realms. To find and clear all technologies and their universe of origin. Throughout all relevant and applicable densities and spaces in between, down to 0 point and unspace. Clear them all now. Find them all now. Work through my connecting consciousness now. To actualize unconditional freedom, beginning with active starseeds. To allow for the light to reach the physical third density surface of where I'm projecting my consciousness from. Now look down at the quarantine sphere. See Gaia as that single monotone color representing omnipresence. And always remember, folks, because this helps the rational mind, physical matter, and even non-physical matter for that matter, is 1% of reality. 99% is a field, a consciousness field of instruction and information. We're going to insert our own instructions and information simply by projecting consciousness a certain way. But let's clear the blocks to that. So powerful. Okay. Now feel through your heart, quote unquote, imagine at the heart level, you aligning with your particular, unique, that only you can do, soul purpose and task. Simply by intent. Look up at your soul over soul and I am if you need to, whatever works for you, because we all have different, unique energy systems. Okay. And so now, really go deep, as if you're in a deep, completely detached, almost kind of lost, immersive meditative state of complete letting go and non-trying. As your intent has been set. And now really as if you're floating inside your own mind, for lack of a better way of putting it. Receive any unexpected, beyond anything that you ever knew. This is real energy work or psychic mastery here. That's so, so powerful. You can see it within the quarantine sphere. It's very, very holographic. Think of it as the ultimate looking glass, because you set the right intent. You asked the right question of anything that's blocking planetary liberation and life from reaching the surface, seemingly of a technological nature. And remember, this technology, it's as good as super organic magic, where it's indistinguishable from magic. Where it almost doesn't even seem like technology. As Arthur C. Clarke famously said. And this will take us anywhere from instantaneous split secondness to as much as 5 or 10 minutes. There's no right or wrong. All that matters is to harness, ride the wave of the power and loving intent of the current astrology, of surprises and the unexpected, by going beyond what you know. And this is where you go deep, detaching even further, losing yourself even more in the now. It's going to be quiet for a few minutes to allow you to do that. And you can take your occasional vision on the HOD or your I am, if it helps, but really click into that true, highest, unique, soul-aligned purpose. Fulfill your mission. let go, and be present. Okay, now return a little bit of. Okay. Okay, all of a sudden we're having tissues, so we're moving over the target. Feel your soul and your heart be incredibly and completely letting go, for lack of a better term, in order to be unlimited with your consciousness. The big secret, this is it. Hold the intent to go beyond what you know. And then transmute whatever enters. It could be something completely irrecognizable. Whatever enters your vision, that the teams and your soul is showing you, by the way, and transmute it. What we're here for ultimately. The standard practice of turning anything dark, it'll appear as either dark grey or black, or even a faint grey. Turn it into white light. And then watch it disappear. Holding in your heart your unique soul purpose, talent, pre-assigned. Fulfill it to make it all worthwhile. We're going to bring the light down to the surface. We're here to transmute. Actualize your soul mission. Always remember, folks, magic like technology and venturing beyond the boundaries of the known, of our current level of consciousness, can appear very faint, sort of hard to catch, and like the most absurd, unexpected thing you've ever come across. Just keep that in mind as the teams, your soul, continues to find and show you things. Transmute it. I'm seeing certain things, and I'm not going to mention them just yet, to make sure it doesn't interfere with your consciousness and what you're receiving and transmuting. And don't worry about getting this right. It doesn't work that way. Transmute. Receive the image, transmute. And don't stop. Be very systematic and disciplined from the space of complete and utter non-trying. Okay, so I'll share a bit now that you've had the chance to go deep and see what only your soul and respective team and Diam can find, because that's your purpose, unique and specific to you, and that you've had a chance to do that. I'll quickly now mention, because often me verbalizing what I see at the right time, not too soon, helps trigger some of you where you need to go in terms of consciousness. So well outside, even beyond lunar orbit, there's many layers of systems, technologies that spring up or appear out of nowhere, so it seems, at certain frequency levels, certain frequency thresholds as we ascend. All right? Most of you know that. And it appeared in the form of, I don't think they're vortexes per se. They look more like whales or gravity whales. I think they're working within gravity somehow. But you don't have to know all the technical ins and outs, because typically they'll appear as faint or not so faint images. You just have to make sure you transmute them and ask questions later. You don't have to understand and analyze. It doesn't work that way typically. And the teams have been working around that and inward. So again, think of an area, I guess, the size of Jupiter, and Gaia in the middle of that. So it's just beyond lunar orbit, and just dismantling and transmuting and removing these. Sometimes they look like cubes, black cubes. Sometimes they look like perpendicular kind of, I'm going to use the term gravity well, because that's simply what's coming to mind. And many layers of these appearing in between time and space. There's various different terms for the same thing. It's been referred to as unspace, null zone, a place of no time and no space. It's okay, you don't have to figure it out, because it'll show itself to you wherever and whatever it is, because the intent has simply been set on clearing whatever's blocking the light reaching the surface. That's it. The supreme algorithm. And it finds anything, wherever it is. But you do have to turn it white, in other words, transmute it. As always, change background colors when you turn something white to have an easier time transmuting if required. Harness your unique soul talents that are built to serve and fulfill your unique pre-assigned soul purpose. Because the teams are saying they want us, or they need our connecting consciousness here from the physical to finalize, basically, truly end, truly clear. The situation between lunar orbit and the atmosphere of the planet. And believe me, that'll make a huge difference. Now, those of you of a Pleiadian background, is it a specific something coming up for you? So if you're a little bit, I don't know, lost, for lack of a better term, return to the intent, that supreme, omnipresent algorithm of anything blocking the light from reaching the physical third density level surface. You know, sort of refresh, if you will, the way you refresh a tab on your browser. Refresh that intent. This is extremely powerful, planet-changing stuff. That's the way the 145K rolls. It rolls without limitation and not afraid to get down to the bottom of things. Through the right methods, protocols, and focus. And as always, you can always flip between what I call micro image of seeing some specifics, you know, brief, very brief images of something in particular, or several somethings, a whole layer of it being transmuted and then removed, disappearing from your white transmutational light, leaving behind a beautiful light blue or magenta goddessy color in the background, as a generalization there. And then you can take that macro image where you zoom out well outside the quarantine sphere, where you see the teams in the background and you see the whole whatever dark grayness that represents blocks of whatever kind getting smaller and smaller. Again, faint images and abstract visualization generally work and seemingly work just as well. So don't worry, especially if you're new, of quote unquote getting it right. It's more about holding the focus when you see something, turning it white and disappearing it. That's the power of your consciousness. You're here to use your consciousness, which is a form of light, driven by love in your heart and your soul. I'm soul and I am, for that matter. And pretty soon I'm going to get all of us to quote unquote imagine what it's like to see initially pillars of light reaching the third density physical plane surface. That's coming up very soon. We need to clear the blocks. We're about clearing blocks. It's just a classic case of external version of shadow work. The less you try, the easier it is. Through engaging the right hemisphere of your brain via so-called imagination and the limitless attitude of a child. And there's some of you that, again, because of what you're built for and your particular soul purpose, it would have gone in deep. Getting rid of underpinnings, in between spaces, as low as the surface of the planet. That sometimes, especially in this case, underpinnings for whatever garbage is preventing the light from reaching the surface. Let's get the light to reach the surface in a mature, open-minded, unlimited-minded way of non-trying. The intent has been set. Let's unite with that intent. Go beyond your wildest imagination without an ounce of trying. Okay, she felt that. Good. Some of you will have felt Gaia there, an upsurge of her energy. Sure makes it worthwhile, doesn't it? Okay, for those of you that know your background is Pleiadian, just do a brief visualization of a fleets. I've seen fleets of Pleiadian motherships in the stratosphere. Connect with them now. They read your consciousness. But specifically to help things along, these fleets, Pleiadian fleets, they're just above critical grid points, otherwise known as nodal points, nexus points of the grids. And just connect with one of them nearest to you in terms of physicality. So if you're in places like LA, Phoenix, Arizona, Mount Shasta, that's an easy one. If you're in Salt Lake City, Utah, just south of you, Promontory Point, I think it's called. It's another easy one. And if you don't know of any, quote unquote, imagine seeing a Pleiadian fleet just at the very tippy top of the blue hue, atmospheric hue. And now ask them to increase their, I suppose you can call it scalar wave beaming, so it'll probably look like a pillar of light or golden pillar of light coming down from this cluster of motherships, Pleiadian motherships, down and into, through what's left of the veil and into that sacred critical grid point. You do it for more than one if you like, but at a minimum, do it for the nearest one to you. See the surface of Gaia in that, dark indigo holographic color, if you like, your god or goddess. And just see that grid point light up like a Christmas tree. Multi-layered, crisscrossing lines of rainbow-colored light. something wavy and octopusy of a plasma nature, I think. Again, a lot of this stuff is just going to look irrecognizable. Turn it white, disappear it. We're radically accelerating and smoothing planetary liberation. Okay, she appreciated that. I felt the Gaia again. Some of you will have as well. Refresh your algorithm if you need to. Back to whatever. Block. It's preventing the light from reaching the third density physical surface. And those Pleiadians of you, to see the grid point really light up and see the rest of the grids, the surrounding region, getting more light and reinforced with more light. As we're going to finish up soon. Okay, I'm often seeing more of Gaia's green as we clear stuff. Remember, all the way up to lunar orbit, that's her outer auric field. It's like your equivalent. Like we all know, you all know about your equivalent of your outer auric field. It extends a few feet away, certainly beyond arm's length. And that's critical. If stuff there isn't cleared, you can't receive external light, and that's obviously going to be a big issue. We're doing the same for Gaia and humanity and ourselves for that matter. For those of you who need to, and we're going to do this one last time, refresh your algorithm, your intent, in other words, of anything, anywhere, blocking light from reaching the surface of the third density physical plane. and turn it white. Pleiades just keep on spreading the light through the grids. Just see lines going all sorts of directions. Okay, for you technocrats, let's just all finish up by doing this one last thing. And those of you not doing anything in particular, you can join in. Look up at your I am presence and the HOD at a minimum. Gaia in the middle, in the foreground. Something came up already. Repeat after me as you look it up at them. Authentic I am presence, oversoul and soul, HOD and guides. Simulate and or scan from omnipresence. The full ascension of Gaia and humanity fully into 5D down to the third density surface physical level. That also includes physical galactic family contact, on the way to that timeline. Proceed. Look down within the quarantine sphere through omnipresence at Gaia. As there's they do it two ways because they do the same thing many different ways, 1,000,001 ways. So they look ahead in terms of linear time. Also, they simulate, like they do many different things in many different ways within many different constructs and models is the best way I can verbalize it in 3D terms. and they bring it all up. And the main thing that we're going for is, I'm going to use the term dead man switches, meaning technologies that come to life as we travel toward fifth density frequency. And if we all play our part in transmitting whatever we see, no matter how faint it may be, you transmute it, to ascend safely and not having it take forever in such a laborious way. We're going to utilize our omnipresence. We're going to utilize the highest octave potential of the technological, innovative nature of Uranus through our internal organic tech. We're here to use that in the here and now. Use it. Don't think. And turn it white. Hold. Disappear it. Ah, nice. I felt her. I felt her. Keep it up. Follow through. Because we're gonna finish up with a bang. Consolidate. Finish up. Is your last chance. Because I want us to get rid of entities as well that are really going to come up once we light up the grids and bring the light through the atmosphere, through Gaia's aura, through the atmosphere, and touching those nodal points. Opening up major pockets of light, beginning with your particular region. Make it happen. Visualize to actualize. Broaden that internal image to include at least two of the teams. Feel the drive and purpose in your heart. Two minutes left before we finish up. use that internal organic dormant technology. Completely clearing, utterly. All technologies, hidden, activated technologies, long dormant, dead man switches that are now activated, we're clearing it. Because enough's enough. Nothing escapes your intent. That algorithmic orientated, omnipresent search term. Okay. If you're not doing anything in particular, see pillars of light just piercing deep through the stratosphere, through the atmosphere, third density level, third density, physical plane, through those nodal grid points and lighting up the grids. Light warriors, if you're not doing anything in particular, transmute negative entities because they're going to be getting kicked up now. Transmute these charming characters. Turn them white, watch them disappear. Don't have to see it perfectly. Faint images seem to work just as well. Abstract images seem to work just as well. Let's finish up. Consolidate. Now, there's bound to be at least a few of you on the East Coast around the Virginia area, if not Virginia herself. Make sure you assist in bringing down that Pleiadian pillar of light into the heart of Virginia, where there's a convergence of ley lines in this case. Pretty much Charlottesville area, get it in there. Light that area up. Ask the teams, your soul, to show you. Your intent has been set. Receive the image. Visualize to actualize. Everybody else, finish up transmuting, clearing. Let's expect the unexpected in the most profound way. Well done, everybody. Finish up if you haven't already. Per your soul talents, purpose, and pre-assigned role in this critical time-space, timeline shifting intervention. We're done. Congratulations on stepping forward and making your mark, fully maximizing your impact, fully honoring who you are and your soul mission, so that all that struggle was never to waste. And that's priceless. How can you put a price on that? Once again, we have radically sped up planetary liberation. We've radically sped up that approach to that timeline, time-space event of off-world or in-Earth contact. At the physical level. We've radically helped terrestrial and non-terrestrial physical forces clean out the surface of this planet by essentially changing the informational field of time-space and in between time-space. And if any of you felt a Gaia, even if it was just now for the first time, at about the times that I actually verbalized it, definitely share that in the Telegram chat. Give us your feedback. On the Telegram chat. and see what we saw, see what anyone else saw, because it's very consciousness expanding, very educational, very empowering, upgrading. You can only receive as far as your consciousness can handle or is ready for. So well done. And I'm sure I'm speaking on behalf of Pleiadians and so much more. You can expect bigger and far greater and grander presence of more non-terrestrial allied fleets positioning themselves well within lunar orbit throughout Gaia's field, upgrading Gaia's field as a result, ascending it. Thanks to what you did today. Damn right. And they all salute you, feel their salutes, and their love and affection for you. It's real, it's there. And now you can walk off with your head high, as I salute you as well. And now we've cleared the way to have even more light reach the surface throughout the rest of the surface. On the new moon meditation, and remember, we got a beautiful 20-minute meditation on Valentine's Day on Friday. That email has been sent. We'll send another one. And all of this extra light reaching the surface now through the grids, through those nodal points of the grids, it allows for an even a bigger internal breakthrough within you in terms of shadow work that has recently come to light. And watch for that email as well. It's gonna get interesting, folks. Stay tuned. As we transform 2025 and bring freedoms oh so much closer. So you receive the love from all that is. And well done. This is the Unknown Light Warrior, closing the physical broadcast of this mass intervention and timeline shift.